This video will describe the Scan Text for Unlinked Concepts button. And what this does, when you click this button, TBTA will scan through the passage that you've specified. For this video, we're keeping it short, just Ruth chapter 3. So TBTA will scan through this passage and look for three things. First, it will look for unlinked concepts. So if there's a concept that you haven't yet linked to a target word, it will stop and it will show you that concept, and you'll be able to enter a new target word and link it to that concept. Second, TBTA will stop whenever there's an unspecified noun-noun relationship. So as it's scanning through the passage, whenever there's a generic genitival relationship that hasn't been specified, it will stop and you'll be able to specify that noun-noun relationship. And third, TBTA will look for uninitialized theta grid adjustment rules. You may remember from previous videos that the verbs and adjectives all have a theta grid adjustment rule. And for each theta grid adjustment rule, it needs to be either activated, so its status is on, or tagged as unnecessary, one or the other. If when TBTA scans through the passage, when it finds a verb or adjective, it will check that theta grid adjustment rule, and if it hasn't been either activated or tagged as unnecessary, it will show you that theta grid adjustment rule, and you can decide what to do with it. So this button searches through the passage looking for three things, and we'll do this now. Again, this is a very short passage just for this video. So scan text. So here's a theta grid adjustment rule for the verb separate. It hasn't been turned on and it hasn't been tagged as unnecessary. So we'll set its status to on. And you can see the progress it's making up there. Okay, here's another rule for put on. Okay, this one will tag as unnecessary. Here's another rule. We'll tag this one, we'll set its status to on. Okay, here's a noun-noun relationship that hasn't been specified yet. Okay, family, in English we would say family's property with a Saxon genitive. So we'll select Saxon genitive. Okay, Ruth's property, another Saxon genitive. Okay, here's a theta grid adjustment rule. We'll say this one needs to be on. Okay, the word back, the back of a person or animal. And here's the verse. Okay, then he put the shawl on Ruth's back. So let's link this to the word back. Right there. We could say skip this word if we wanted to. Or if we say cancel, that will stop the scanning process. So you can skip a word if you want, or you can cancel the process. Okay, so it's done. So that's what this is useful for. It scans through a passage and it looks for unlinked concepts, unspecified noun-noun relationships, and uninitialized theta grid adjustment rules. And the main time you use this is after your lexicon and grammar are well developed and you're coming to a new book that you haven't worked in before. Or for example, let's say we at All the Word, we finished the semantic representation for a new book. Later this month we hope to finish the analysis of Nehemiah. So I will come here and the passage will be the book of Nehemiah. Nehemiah 1:1 to the end of Nehemiah. And I'll click this button and TBTA will scan through the book of Nehemiah, and there are many proper names in Nehemiah that I'm sure we haven't encountered yet. So TBTA will stop and I'll enter the English equivalent for those target names, for those proper names. Hopefully in the book of Nehemiah we won't need any new other nouns or new verbs or adjectives or anything else. Hopefully it will just be proper names. And so after I finish the book of Nehemiah in English, then I'll repeat this process with Tagalog. I'll load the Tagalog project and come here again. Scan through the text. We'll scan through Nehemiah and again enter all of the proper names for the book of Nehemiah. So this is useful when your lexicon and grammar are well developed and you're working on a new book and you want to scan through quickly and find all of the missing concepts unlinked concepts, the unspecified generic genitival relationships, and the uninitialized theta grid adjustment rules.